Sensex and Nifty move closer to their highest level in a month. Financials lead the charge with Nifty Bank hitting an 11-month high. Crude oil prices plunged to a 7-month low with Brent dropping below $90 mark. The war of words between Russia and Europe over attempts to cap the price of Russian gas import continues. Vladimir Putin threatens to halt all shipment to Europe ahead of winter. IndiGo co-founder Rakesh Gangwal's family sells nearly 3% stake in the airline for about 2,000 crore rupees. Gangwal promises to sell entire holdings in 5 years, which currently stands at nearly 34%. Bhatia, the other co-founder, holds nearly 38%. Finance Minister Nirmala Sitharaman says importing cheap Russian oil part of inflation management and RBI needs to be more synchronized to handle inflation. We compare the two most expensive handsets in the world, the iPhone 14 Pro Max and the Samsung Z Fold 4. And we tell you the real reason why iPhones are so expensive in India. Who says India doesn't spend on flagship luxury smartphones? While Samsung has received over 100,000 bookings for its new foldables in India, Apple too is ready with its all-new iPhone 14. With both smartphone giants enjoying a large market share in the premium segment, a clash of the tech behemoths is evident. So which one will customers opt for and which one has a better phone to offer? Take a look at this report.
As India comes out of the clutches of the COVID-19 pandemic, people are ready to loosen their purse strings this Diwali. With no Diwali blues in sight, the richy-rich are all geared up to splurge on some luxury tech. And the smartphone giants are ready with their latest offerings. After Samsung, Apple too kicked off Techtember with its all-new iPhone 14. In the Indian market, the two companies have dominated the premium smartphone segment for years. Apple has lapped up a large share of the market in the last few years with rock-solid updates. But Samsung is not far behind. Last month, Samsung launched its latest foldable smartphones, Galaxy Z Flip 4 and Galaxy Z Fold 4. And the South Korean tech giant claims that the 4th generation foldables in India have already received over 100,000 bookings. This is likely to spell trouble for the iPhone maker, whose new updates are underwhelming. Samsung, which has upped its game and created its own niche with the foldables, took a dig at Apple saying, "Let us know when it folds." But both these smartphones will cost you a bomb. The Galaxy Z Fold 4 is priced at a whopping 1.55 lakh rupees, and if you're opting for Galaxy Z Flip 4, you will have to shell out about 90,000 rupees. On the other hand, iPhone 14 is priced at 80,000 rupees. The 14 Plus with the 6.7-inch screen will cost 90,000 rupees in India, and Pro Max about 1,40,000 rupees. This time around, Apple has focused on improving the cameras of iPhone 14 and iPhone 14 Pro handsets. The iPhone 14 Pro models will come with a 48-megapixel primary camera, 12-megapixel telephoto camera, and a 12-megapixel ultra-wide camera. On the other hand, the Samsung Galaxy Z Fold 4 too sports a triple rear camera setup. The setup includes a 50-megapixel primary camera, 10-megapixel telescope lens, and a 12-megapixel ultra-wide-angle lens. Moving on to the looks and display. iPhone 14 looks the same as iPhone 13. Not much has changed here. While iPhone 14 and 14 Plus come in 6.1 to 6.7 inch size, Samsung Galaxy Z Fold 4 boasts of a 7.6 inch display. The new iPhone is powered by the same processor as the iPhone 13, plus its satellite phone feature is also not coming to India. Now let's shift focus to the powerhouse of these phones, the battery. Samsung Galaxy Z Fold 4 tips iPhone 14 when it comes to battery. While the iPhone 14 Pro Max has a battery of over 4,300 mAh, Galaxy Z Fold 4 runs on a 4,400 mAh battery. Nevertheless, Apple offers better charging features with iPhone 14 Max Pro supporting wireless charging. But the one thing which makes iPhones the apple of everyone's eye is the reliability. Samsung has a long way to go when it comes to longevity of its smartphones. And with Apple not raising the prices of the new iPhones, Samsung will face a big challenge. Well, the battle lines are drawn and clash of the smartphone giants is evident. Bureau Report, Business Today TV.
The big question everyone is asking, why are Apple phones so expensive in India? Business Today TV did a deep dive into this to find the answers. The fingers point again to the usual suspect, the abominably high taxes levied by the government.
The new iPhone goes on sale in India on the 16th of this month, the same day as customers in the United States will get hold of their handsets. But the similarity, unfortunately, ends there. The handsets are priced much higher in India than they are in the United States. In rupee terms, the iPhone 14 in the US sells for around 64,000 rupees. In India, the price starts at 80,000 rupees. The 14 Plus with the 6.7-inch screen costs 90,000 in India versus 72,000 rupees in the United States. The price difference is even more pronounced for higher spec handsets. The Pro has a difference of nearly 50,000 rupees on the base model. The Pro Max, which costs 1.4 lakh rupees in India, is priced at 88,000 rupees in the United States. So what accounts for this big difference in prices? Is it the rupee-dollar exchange rate, or is it Apple, which is eking out a greater profit in India? Business Today TV tried to find the reasons, and what we discovered was its taxes, which are causing a signal drop for iPhone consumers in India. The iPhone 14, which costs 80,000 rupees in India, has two tax elements. One, a GST, and the other, an import duty, together amounting to around 24,000 rupees, or nearly 30% of the total cost. Likewise, the larger screen Pro also has 30% of its cost in taxes. When you buy the 1.3 lakh rupee iPhone Pro, you're paying nearly 40,000 rupees in taxes. The top spec iPhone Pro Max gains the government 42,720 rupees in tax revenue. There is, however, some good news. Apple plans to start the production of its latest phones in India very soon. Once that happens, expect the tax component to fall by half, making iPhones much cheaper than they are now. With Nidhi Singhal, Bureau Report, Business Today TV.
Equity benchmarks rose sharply to end a two-session losing streak. Sensex and Nifty were at a three-week closing high. Sensex gaining over 650 points to shut shop at 59,688. Nifty too gained over 170 points, ending a few points shy of 17,800. Financials led the charge with the Nifty Bank Index hitting an 11-month high. ICICI, Axis Bank, Tech Mahindra, BPCL, some of the top gainers. Shree Cement continued to gain momentum and top the chart. The stock has jumped 10% in two sessions. It was the metal and media stocks which saw some profit booking. Metal stocks Hindalco and Tata Steel slid on falling prices. Coal India, Tata Consumer and SBI Life, some of the other laggards in trade today. 7 months after stepping down from the IndiGo board, Rakesh Gangwal and family sell 2.8% stake via a block deal today. Let's head across to Sakshi Batra for more details on this. Sakshi?
That's right. 7 months after stepping down from the board of Interglobe Aviation, the parent company of IndiGo, co-founder Rakesh Gangwal and his family have finally begun the process of stake sale in IndiGo today. And this was one reason why IndiGo shares were actually seen slipping in the intraday trade and also towards the end of the session. So here's what's really happening. Rakesh Gangwal, who served as a non-executive and a non-independent director on the board of the budget airline IndiGo, resigned from his position back in February this year. The Gangwal family has today sold a 2.8% stake through block deals worth 2,000 crore rupees. Now remember that both Rakesh Gangwal and his wife Shobha Gangwal together hold a 23% stake as of June 2022 in IndiGo. Cumulatively, their entire family and the trust also hold together 36.6% stake, which after today's stake sale is now down to 33.8%. Now, we do know that Rakesh Gangwal had earlier already indicated that he would actually sell his entire holding in IndiGo over a period of 5 years. And therefore, many experts also believe that the stock may actually come under pressure from time to time whenever the stake sale happens. But why is Gangwal offloading his stake as well? Like, that's the question everybody's asking. Well, remember that Rakesh Gangwal along with Rahul Bhatia had started IndiGo at the start of this millennium, but had got into serious fallout in the last few years. The Gangwal and family and co-founder Rahul Bhatia's groups collectively hold about 74.4% stake in the airline, which is almost equally both sides. Now, this stake sale process is expected to really put an end to the 4-year-long legal battle or legal dispute between the two co-founders, where Gangwal had earlier raised the issues largely related to Bhatia and his family's control over IndiGo and related party transactions between the two entities as well. Now, today's stake sale was actually possible after the Articles of Association was modified, which actually allows one promoter to sell his stake in a company without seeking the approval from the other, and that's what has happened. Now, after today's stake sale, the Gangwal family stake is now down to 33.8%, while Rahul Bhatia continues to hold 37.8% in Interglobe Aviation. Now, Rakesh Gangwal's resignation and the decision to dilute his entire stake really paves the way for Rahul Bhatia's complete control over the airline. It also throws open the possibility of new investor or more investors really coming in. And now this will become a very, very interesting space to watch, as IndiGo will now have to protect its market share from the other heavyweights like the Tata-owned Air India, Vistara. You also have the newly launched Big Bull's Akasa Air now, and the Jet Airways gradually taking off to its second innings along with the other low-cost carriers as well.
All right, thanks for that, Sakshi. Now, retail sales of automobiles in India grew 8.31% in August this year on the back of an increase in registrations of vehicles across all major segments. That's according to the Federation of Automobile Dealers Associations. Passenger vehicle retail continues to witness robust growth. Meanwhile, the two-wheeler segment failed to achieve its pre-pandemic figures. Chetan Bhutani caught up with Manish Raj Singhania, president at FADA, and asked him about these numbers as well as the outlook for festive season.
Give us a sense of the numbers. 8% up in August total sales for 2022. Give us the good, bad, and ugly as to what is performing and what is not performing.
Hello, thank you for the invite. Let me go segment-wise to explain the various categories of automobile industry. First, passenger vehicle. As you can see, passenger vehicle retail numbers have already surpassed the pre-COVID levels, and on a year-to-year basis also, the growth is close to 7%. So overall, passenger vehicle is doing very good. Numbers are rolling in, and you can see from the recent launches of various companies like Mahindra and Maruti, phenomenal booking of 1 lakh plus they had received. So attraction of passenger vehicle segment is very much there, and more inclined towards SUVs. The number of launches, numerous launches that is happening in SUV segment with increased features and for the customer is creating adequate attraction for the customer, and COVID-19 or COVID experience and their inclination to move towards personal mobility has increased the retails of passenger vehicles. It is full on, and we expect a phenomenal number in during the festive season for passenger vehicles. Two-wheeler segment has not been performing so well, and it has been struggling. Pre-COVID levels, we are still down by almost 16%, but on a year-to-year basis, you can very well see it is up by 9%. So the expectation of recovery in two-wheeler segment during the festive times is there. Maybe due to two factors that I see has not been able to, two-wheeler segment has not been able to perform so well. One is increase in cost of acquisition. The entry-level bikes have, BS4 entry-level bikes were costing around 40,000, but now the basic bike is costing around 60,000. On top of that, the fuel prices running at 100 rupees acted as a dampener to this segment. So we expect during the festive time, two-wheeler segment should give a single-digit growth, and passenger vehicle to give a double-digit growth.
Let's take a very quick break on that note. Lots more coming up for you here on Business Today. Do stay tuned.
Bharat Biotech's COVID-19 nasal vaccine has been approved for emergency use for those above 18. This means an intramuscular shot isn't now the only strategy available against COVID. Viruses like COVID enter the body through mucosa tissues that line the nose, mouth, lungs, and the digestive tract. The vaccine would use a chimpanzee cold virus to deliver a harmless copy of the COVID spike to the lining of the nose. The vaccine is easy to administer as it is non-invasive and does not require trained healthcare workers. You just need to squirt it in your nose. It further eliminates needle-associated risks such as injuries and infections. The Hyderabad-based firm completed clinical trials of the nasal vaccine with about 4,000 volunteers. No side effects were reported so far, but there are also questions about its effectiveness. In some flu vaccines, attempts to deliver vaccines like this have not been successful. India's COVID situation is improving. India reported 4,400 new coronavirus cases in the last 24 hours, which is the lowest in the last 3 months. The active cases comprise 0.12% of the total infections. And the national COVID-19 recovery rate is also improving and has increased to 98.69%. About 213 crore doses of COVID vaccines have been administered so far.
Make your media plan smarter with India Today Live TV on your connected devices.
Welcome back. Another day and another Indian moving into the top position at a global company. Advertising powerhouse Ogilvy has appointed Devika Bulchandani as its global CEO. As this special Business Today TV report shows, the Amritsar-born high flyer is just the latest in the line of Indians leading global companies.
It is one of the most iconic advertising companies in the world. Founded by original madman David Ogilvy in 1948. Today, it is an advertising behemoth, employing over 70,000 people and part of the British WPP group. Now, less than 2 years after joining Ogilvy as global president and CEO of North America, India-born Devika Bulchandani is being elevated as the agency's global CEO. She takes over from Andy Main, who remains as senior advisor till the end of this year. Born in Amritsar and educated at the Vellum Girls' School in Dehradun, Devika got a degree from St. Xavier's in Mumbai before moving to University of Southern California for a master's degree in communications. She is a 20-year veteran of McCann, leaving the company as the president of McCann New York last March. Since then, she has been the global president of Ogilvy. In her new role, Devika will be responsible for the agency's business across 131 offices in 93 countries. She also joins Legion of Indian women CEOs, making their mark on the global landscape. These corner office occupants include Leena Nair, who recently took charge as the CEO of Chanel. Sharmishtha Dubey is the CEO of the Match Group, the parent company of popular online dating services like Tinder. Revati Adveti is the CEO of Flex, an automation and logistics giant. Jayashree Ullal heads the cloud networking company Arista Networks. Anjali Sood is the CEO of Vimeo, a video services platform. Reshma Kevalramani is the CEO of Vertex Pharma, a Boston-based biotech major. Ogilvy already has Piyush Pandey as its global chief creative officer. Now the agency in India's Connect deepens with the arrival of Devika Bulchandani as its top officer. Bureau Report, Business Today Television.
India has recently pipped UK to become the world's 5th largest economy. Prime Minister Narendra Modi has come out and issued his first statement on this and said that India is surpassing UK and that's not an ordinary achievement. Listen in.
पूरी दुनिया अब भारत से सीखने की बात कर रही है। कुछ दिन पहले ही भारत ने दुनिया की 5वें नंबर की अर्थव्यवस्था बनने का गौरव हासिल किया है। इस उपलब्धि से देश को और मेहनत करने का, अमृतकाल के बड़े संकल्पों को सिद्ध करने का हौसला मिला है। ये प्रगति मामूली नहीं है। हर हिंदुस्तान का सीना गर्व से भर जाता है। हमें अपने उत्साह, अपने उमंग को इसी तरह बनाए रखना है।
Finance Minister Nirmala Sitharaman said that importing Russian oil was part of the country's inflation management strategy and that other countries were also following the same path. She also said that in order to control inflation, the RBI will need to be more in tune with fiscal policy and other elements. Inflation management cannot be singularly left to the monetary policy, which has proved totally ineffective in many countries. Listen in.
It was ramped up to almost 12 to 13%. All within a couple of months that we are talking about. And why? Why do we need to? Yes, we've cut down the price somewhat. But can it be further strengthened? Can the burden on the Indian exchequer for having to import that much more, at that much more price, can it be handled with a lot more sense of prudence? Will there be a political implication on it? Will there be a political fallout because of that? And that's where I give credit to the statesmanship of the Prime Minister to make sure globally that we did keep our relationship with all countries, but yet managed to get the Russian fuel, which is what Japan is doing today, which is what probably Italy and some other countries are doing. So sanctions, wherever they are, sanctions, but countries are finding their own way to get that very Russian fuel, Russian gas. That also is a part of the inflation management. And therefore, I just want to ensure Reserve Bank will have to synchronize somewhat. May not be as much synchronized as the other Western developed countries would do. But it is the truth that India's solution to handling the economy, part of which is handling inflation also, is an exercise where the fiscal policy, together with the monetary policy, has to work. It can't be singularly left to the monetary policy, which has proved totally ineffective in many countries. In very many countries whose structures, whose economy's profile are so forming the basis for the monetary policy theory to rivet everything on interest rate management and say that's the final and potent tool to manage inflation. Economies are designed, economies are there, and the policy is designed in such a way that the monetary policy and the interest rate management is the only tool to handle inflation through the interest rate management.
On boats and tractors, this is how Bengaluru's elite escaped flooding as the Karnataka capital bore the brunt of the monsoon rage. Over the last few days, Bengaluru's most high-end residential properties have been the worst hit by the overflow of the Yamalur Lake. Homes of corporate and business elite, including Wipro chairman Rishad Premji, Britannia's CEO Varun Berry and Baiju's co-founder Baiju Ravindran have been flooded. My colleague Sagai Raj has filed this report from the plush residential colony where the water has not receded even after 4 days.
The government had made an announcement when first time it was being flooded. I mean to say a few weeks back when there was a flood kind of situation in Bengaluru. Even at that point of time, Chief Minister as well as local MLA had visited several places, and thereafter they have announced that they will start a demolition drive. And today, former Chief Minister Siddaramaiah had visited this place. He's also an opposition party leader, and he visited this same place. It is called Epsilon Villas, where you have all your IT tycoons, all your CEOs, CFOs of major IT companies live here. And you can see the condition of it. When Siddaramaiah visited, it was up to the knee level. Now, after pumping continuously, now it is reduced. Imagine after 4th day of insensitive rain, now you get to see these kind of waterlogging in this particular place. Probably on Monday, it was might have reached around 30 to 14 feet. And you can see these are those luxury villas in this particular area where media was prohibited and they were not allowed to shoot anything or show any kind of flooding situation now. Just because the Home Minister and the opposition party leader had visited, we were allowed inside when they came here to see this situation.
And that's where we leave it on the show tonight. Thanks so much for watching.